child of God. How simple it is to be the child of God, to allow yourself to be the child of God. The child has a particular purpose. The child is always there to learn and to embrace the innocence of not knowing. The child is not expected to know, but the child is encouraged to learn. When you see yourself or accept yourself as a child of God, you're not too proud to sit at the feet of God, to learn, to be available for learning always. To learn goes against the ways of the world. The ways of the world say, you should already know. Have your awareness and your knowing already intact. And you count on that as the non-child, because the ego says, if you don't know, you have failed. You should know everything. You should know and prove that you know in the everyday life. And yet the child of God has to really begin at the place of, I don't know. How could we know? How could we know what it is that is the mysteries of the universe? How could we know how to return home when we've never returned home before? How could we know how love navigates when we've never touched the truth of love in its deepest sense? So allow yourself to embrace being the child of God. Embrace that you are here to learn. If you think you already know, the sadness of that is then you're not open to learning, because you're already in a knowing that actually has no reality to it. But if you insist on it, on knowing, there is a deep suffering. There's a deep suffering because it feels as if you're being punished by not being shown the way. But what's really in the way is the knowing. It closes the door. And all that's being asked in the spiritual journey is the relinquishment of knowing, to be open, to sit at the feet of the divine and to receive instructions, receive awareness, receive healing. Look deeply within and to see if there is this fear that says, I have to present to the world a knowing. I can't be in the not knowing because I'll be threatened by something. And look deeply. Let the Holy Spirit show you deeply that the threat is all in the mind that the ego has developed in its system, and the knowing is all to stay separate. That's all, that's its only purpose, is to give you a false sense of security and to keep you separate from love. So when you accept that you are a child of God, hold it dearly, hold it with reverence, hold it with happiness that you have finally come to the place where you can accept that you're a child of God and that you're here to learn. And resist the temptation to judge where you are in the spiritual journey of remembering. Resist the temptation of using the ego mind to judge how well you're doing in your spiritual journey. The ego has no awareness and no truth within it to give you. If you ask the ego, how are you doing? It's going to be a very mixed bag of doubt and fear. Either you're not doing it enough, you're not doing it well enough, you're not doing it fully enough, whatever it is, it's not going to be the truth. The truth is that wherever you are in your spiritual journey, you cannot judge it. It cannot be judged. And you certainly cannot judge anyone else where they are in their spiritual journey. And the secret of that is really that there cannot be a judgment of where you are in your spiritual journey by the world's standards, because it's all linear. It's all about time. And you're trying to judge through time and through the linear way of the world. Trust that you are exactly where you need to be. And as you keep saying yes to love and be willing to be sitting at the feet of the divine, you will receive everything that is necessary. It is a deep learning to be without the knowing of the past, or to have expectations of yourself or of anyone or of the spiritual journey. It's a deep learning. And there's no reference point to it, because you can't use what you think you know to judge it in any way. But this is where the trust is so essential, the trust in the divine, that you are held and that you are moving in the perfect harmony of your journey. Now, if you are at the same time saying no in many different kind of ways, like I know, which equals a no, then the Holy Spirit may show you where your resistance is, where your fears are that you have been giving credence to and listening to. And the Holy Spirit will open those doors for you. Healing will always be there for you, always, because you are so loved. And even the tiniest, squeakiest yes is heard and answered. You don't have to be totally willing, but a little willingness is necessary in every moment. And through the little willingness, it's the most amazing element, because a little willingness really opens the trance, takes you out of the trance, because as soon as you recognize and you consciously affirm that you have a little willingness, you're no longer in the trance of the ego. Not completely. The door's open, the window's opened. And the child of God can join with the light of love. Let it be, and let yourself be the child of God. It's the holiest place there is. It's the truth. Allow it. This hymn that I've sung so often, I always come back to it because it affirms that the calling is to the school of love. And the school of love is here for everyone to affirm. Here I am going, declaring the love within my heart. Here I want to affirm the love of our Divine Mother that I am here forever to love. Here in this school of love, I come to give thanks to all divine beings, and within the light of our Divine Mother, I praise the truth of love, and I never am here to aggrandize myself. Every beloved has been small with the size of love within the world, but within the light of God, you are the great love of God. Loving together with all beloveds, all of us together, praising God. And here within this power of love, we must give thanks to our divine Father and Mother. The healing that we are receiving is within the heart as we celebrate loving and giving thanks. Eu aqui vou seguindo, declarando o amor dentro do meu coração. Eu aqui quero afirmar o amor de nossa mãe, para sempre eu amar. Aqui na escola do amor, eu venho agradecer a todos os seres divinos dentro da luz de nossa mãe, para sempre vou louvar e nunca me agradecer. Sou pequeno do tamanho do amor, para dentro desta luz, o grande amor é todo ser. Amar, junto com os meus irmãos, todos nós seguindo juntos, e o Deus poder louvar. Aqui dentro do poder, devemos agradecer a nosso Pai, a nossa Mãe, as curas que vamos recebendo dentro do coração, amando e agradecendo. Here we are, in the light of love. Feeling the tenderness of God's hand. I feel your tenderness. I feel your tenderness. I feel the tenderness of your ever-loving hand. I feel the tenderness. I feel the tenderness. I feel the tenderness from deep within. I feel your mercy, Lord. I feel your mercy, Lord. I feel the mercy, Lord, of your ever-loving hand. I feel the mercy, Lord. I feel the mercy, Lord. I feel the mercy, Lord, from deep within. I see your beauty, Lord. I see your beauty, Lord. I see your beauty, Lord, of your ever-loving hand. I see your beauty, Lord. I see your beauty, Lord. I see your beauty, Lord, from deep within. I sense your truth, O Lord. I sense your truth, O Lord. I sense your truth, O Lord, of your ever-loving hand. I sense the truth, O Lord. I sense the truth, O Lord. I sense your truth, O Lord, from deep within. This prayer is your prayer. When you allow your senses, your sense of truth, your sense of God's beauty to be found in the heart, to be found within you, there is no greater peace than to find that sense of truth within you. It's right there. The beauty of God is within you. The gentleness is within you. The tenderness is within you. The truth is within you. And the way of finding it is in the quiet without the knowing of your mind, the insistence of the ego to be talking all the time within your mind, coming up with conclusions, coming up with judgments, coming up with expectations, coming up with knowing, and letting it all stop. And you have the choice to stop it because you are the commander of your mind. And you have the opportunity of giving your mind over to the Holy Spirit, to the God, and no longer wanting to give it to the false identity. I feel your tenderness because you're one with the divine. And then you are. And then you are like this, a small bird decorated with orange patches of light, waving your wings near my window, encouraging me with all of existence love to dance. And then you are like this, A cruel word that stabs me from the mouth of a strange costume you wear, a guise you had too long tricked me into thinking could be other than you. And then you are the firmament that spins at the end of a string in your hand that you offer to mine, saying, "Did you drop this? Surely this is yours." And then you are, oh, then you are, the beloved of every creature, revealed with such grandeur, bursting from each cell in my awareness. I kneel, I laugh, I weep, I sing, I sing. And then you are. This offering of being either a small bird that's decorated with orange patches of light that waves your wings near the window of the beloved, encouraging the beloved to dance. Or you can be a cruel word that stabs from the mouth of a strange costume. Is that you? No. No. You may think that it's you, and you may use it as an idea of protection, but it's not who you are. But this is the world of discovery of who you truly are. And every time that the idea of pain gets used for protection, it is always, always untrue. Untrue of you. But you have to choose. That is your one contribution, is that you choose. You either join with love or you join with illusion of pain and suffering. The difficulty in choosing at the beginning of the journey is that pain and suffering seem normal. Pain and suffering seem familiar for sure. And in that familiar, love is suspicious. Suspicious because the ego's entire purpose of every lifetime has been to train you to believe that if you open your heart, that is where pain is. That if you open your heart, you can be hurt. But if you're careful and you're protected, you're safe. But it's all upside down. It's absolutely upside down. You have never been safe in pain and suffering. You have never been safe in attack. You have never been safe in caution or suspicion of any kind. And you have never been safe in proving your worth. The lies of safety have been turned upside down, and you have believed in your own defense system that it was justified, that it was helpful, and that it worked. But the deeper that you go in the spiritual truth of love, you soon discover that no, it was a lie. It was a hoax. It was a cruel trick of the ego that convinced that, yeah, this was the way, being protected, being defended. and having an identity that was separate from everybody. And even though the identity was learned through other identities, you picked and you chose what you think would defend you the most and how you would present yourself as a better ego within the world. But love is calling. Love is calling you to recognize that it was never love, and it was never peaceful, and it was never comforting at all. It may have been satisfying to the ego. Everybody has felt that sense of satisfaction of being the winner. But every time that you believed that you had the satisfaction of being the winner, you had to worry about being the loser, because it always had its opposite. It always had the other side. You get to be a winner in one instant, and as soon as you grab that baton of the winner, the worry starts building of being the loser. And you have to defend against being the loser. And you have to protect being the winner. Why would anyone have to proclaim that you won something? Let's say you win a job promotion. And you can't wait to tell everybody because you won. And you want to prove to everybody that you earned that it was because you were better, because you were the top. There's nothing in being the top. There's no love there. You have to protect the top. Does that mean that you don't advance in the world with the company that you work for or a job that you have? No, but it's not for the purpose of proving your worth. It is to serve through that position, to serve love through that position, not to prove your worth. Because you can never prove your worth in the world. It's the ego's intention that you never prove your worth, that you never find that peace of, oh, I finally made it. No. The only peace that you will find is in the divine equality with all beings, that you have nothing to prove. And even further than nothing to prove is the willingness to hold others in the light, possibly in a higher position than you, but that it means nothing to you to exalt and say, look at this beloved in this light, and hold that truth of every beloved. Hold them in that love, that they are God's light. And that you don't have to prove that you're God's light, because you feel the tenderness, you feel the truth within you, and you hold it for others. And as you hold it for others, it raises your own awareness of the love that is within you, that you are, that has no competition, that never has to battle with anyone for a position. You are the light of God. You are the child of God. And there's nothing that you can prove in any way, because you just are. And then you want to see everyone in that same light and hold them in that same light. Everybody has felt that nervous fear that comes up if you try to prove your worth. It's a frightening place to try to prove your worth because you can't. It will always leave you disappointed in yourself that you didn't prove your worth in some way. But you are the light of God. There's nothing to prove. Walk in the confidence that you are the light of God. You have always been the light of God. Nothing to prove, nothing to gain from it. You can be the small bird decorated with orange patches of light, waving your wings near the window, encouraging everyone in all of existence to dance, because your heart is singing in that dance too. But what you are not is the cruel word that stabs others. Everybody has carried that in some way, whether it's private thoughts, secret thoughts, or it comes out to be said. It's like wanting to take it and throw it back in because you didn't really want that to come and be given to anyone. You are the light of God that is perfect. Your divine spirit is perfect. And that's all that you truly are. The game that's being played in trying to prove worth or trying to be better than somebody else or make it better is the closed window of not realizing that there is nothing beyond yourself that can make you fearful in any way, or that can make you loving in any way. Nothing outside yourself. All the love is already within you. All the love that God created is already your divine spirit. And nothing else from outside can make you either fearful or loving. Nothing can make you fearful. That is such an astounding acceptance that every time there is a fear thought or a fear reaction, it is coming from within. That's what I call the Trojan horse syndrome. That you have a Trojan horse in your brain of the ego that's telling you to be fearful or to be loving, and it's not possible. Nothing outside can make you fearful, and that Trojan horse is in your mind. And it's the ego saying, look outside, look outside. Be careful of everything outside. Something outside can get you. And it isn't outside. It's all in the brain. It's all in the mind that has been taken over by fear. And there's nothing of love to get outside. If you're looking for, let's say, appreciation or acknowledgement of any kind from the outside, it's always going to be a disappointment. And you're going to be the puppet that's going to dance or try to prove yourself in order to get that recognition. And it's never going to satisfy because it's not out there. The love is complete within you. You are the love of God. There's nothing that you can do to prove it. You are that love of God. Can you embrace that everything is already within you? And what then happens to the expectations? The expectations of the world. Are you already putting an expectation on tomorrow? What is it that you think will be there tomorrow that you can have an expectation of and figure out? You can't. To have an expectation is to make up something in your mind from the past. And if it's coming from the past, it's just going to repeat itself, and you'll just have the same expectations that you've always had, and the same disappointments, and the same worries. But if you put the future into the hands of God, if you truly give it over and rest in the moment, then you can be at peace. Tomorrow is God's. The future is God's. If it's not God's, then it belongs to pain and suffering, and you will just keep repeating what has been in the past. Can you rest in putting the future into the hands of God? Truly, the future, not 10 years from now, 2 minutes from now, an hour from now, a day from now, but giving it all to God. I don't know anything. Let it reveal itself. I don't know what it needs to look like. I don't know what I'm supposed to say. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. Just allowing that opening, that willingness to give the future to God will allow peace to be the center of your heart. Oh, that's right. I gave tomorrow to God. I'm not there to think about tomorrow. I have no idea what tomorrow will look like, will bring. I'm here to love, and I give that love to God in the future, that God will provide the future. I don't know what it needs to look like. I don't know what the learning is for tomorrow. I'm just showing up. That's the ease and the peace that is available completely. The beloved of every creature revealed with such grandeur, bursting from each cell. I kneel, I laugh, I weep, I sing, I sing. In the name of God, I sing. In the name of God, I kneel. In the name of God, I surrender. How simple is that? That's all that's being asked for your own healing, for your own remembering. When you forgive in the world, what is that for? When you forgive yourself for believing that you had to control tomorrow, when you forgive yourself, it is because you have condemned yourself that you would forgive yourself. Condemnation is saying, God is not in charge of my life. God is not my guide. It's believing that you have the answer on your own, and that is a condemnation of yourself. And that is the calling for forgiveness. Because when you believe that you have the answer, you're saying no to truth. You're saying no to peace. You're saying no to learning the way of love. So we have to forgive if we've condemned. And we only can forgive because we've condemned. If there was no condemnation, there would be no purpose of forgiveness. The greatest part of the journey of remembering is the recognition that only you can condemn yourself. Why would you condemn yourself is the great mystery of the ego, but it gets chosen by judgment. And then the only reason that you judge outside is because you want to get rid of the judgment on yourself. But it sticks anyways. And then you've added the extra ingredient of judging outside. And when you judge outside, you have guilt. So you still feel condemned because you're swimming in guilt from the condemnation. Forgive your wanting to condemn anything. And what is condemnation? Condemnation is just a judgment. It's saying, I know something and I am acting on that judgment. Or I'm acting on the belief of the past. If somebody yells in a room, I'm not yelling, but if somebody yells in a room and it's very loud and very, very surprising, whether they're yelling, hey, or you, or anything, you have a reaction. You have a reaction to that yelling. Where is the reaction coming from? Where would the reaction to somebody yelling coming from? It has to come from the past. It has to come from a decision that has been made sometime in the past that says yelling is dangerous. Yelling is an attack. Who made it that? Who made the belief that yelling was an attack? An agreement, possibly, but more than likely, you had a reaction in the past that said, I don't like somebody yelling at me. It scares me. I believe that I'm being attacked. But it's a belief that's coming from your mind. And you're suffering with the belief that's coming from your mind. You're attacking yourself. The yelling doesn't really mean anything at all. I could yell, maybe. But what would it mean? Would it mean that I changed or did something? Only in your own mind. Or if somebody whispers and you can't hear it, and you get irritated because you can't hear somebody whispering, where does the irritation come from? The irritation has to come from somewhere that you believed something was, that you were not being treated fairly because they were whispering. These are all made up things. You can name anything in that same vein, and it will be coming from your own mind and from your past that has no meaning except the meaning you have given it. And you suffer with it. Somebody looks at you with what you perceive to be a sour look on their face, which is a nice expression, sour look. What is a sour look? It's something you made up that you have discerned means something, and it becomes personal to you because they have that look on their face. If you have no guilt, if you are not giving it meaning, you won't be at the effect of whatever that meant. Probably meant nothing. Maybe they had a lemon drop in their mouth, who knows? Or maybe they remembered something that they forgot to do. But your interpretation is, it means something about me. Why does it mean something about you? Aha. Narcissism is the prevalent leader of the ego's world. It has to mean something about me because everything means something about me, rather than that beloved has a sour look on their face. How can I serve them? I have nothing to hold on to for the meaning that it is about me. It's not about me. I'm here to serve. How does narcissism heal? Because narcissism is one of the main elements of the ego. It's all about me. The world revolves around me. I see everything through how it affects me. I've said it before that the narcissism of the ego is so prevalent and touches everything, so much so that if somebody says that someone just passed out of the body, the first thought of the ego is, how does it affect me? Not how can I serve or how can I hold the truth for this beloved, but how does it affect me? That's my first go-to. Now, when you see that how does it affect me? Everything is about me. That's when the narcissism can start to heal. And it does need to be healed because it has no validity to it. It's meant to hold you in separation. When you think about you first, it's about me. It holds the ego in its favorite place of separation. This is why the healing is about, I'm here only to be truly helpful. Because that agreement, that way of being, I'm here only to be truly helpful, releases the narcissism in the moment and extends your awareness to serving humanity. And you start to heal the narcissism. It's not that you're healing the narcissism, but you're surrendering the narcissism into the hands of God. You no longer want to be run by what about me? What about me is not connected at all to I'm here only to be truly helpful, only to be truly helpful. I don't have to worry about what to say or what to do because love will direct me. Again, there's no narcissism as long as love is directing you because you're not in the concern of the self. You're trusting in the power of God. And the narcissism can start to fade. But what about me is the ego's favorite place. And it shows up in so many different ways because if you're afraid, if you're living in fear, that is also a direct line to your narcissism. Because when you have fear, it says, I have to be concerned about me. I'm feeling fearful. I am experiencing fear, and so it is about me. And I can't expand. I have to contract because I'm in fear. So I contract and go deeper inside. I'm afraid of being out and exposed and open. But this is the way of love, is to expose and to be open to love, to no longer have a barrier in the heart that says, I have to protect me, because that's what I've always done. I've used this teaching many times that one of my teachers, after hours of being worried that others were thinking that I was not behaving well enough in a situation. And I said this to my teacher. God, I was so afraid everybody was thinking what a horrible job I was doing. And he looked at me and said, do you think that nobody has anything to think about except you? And that was the perfect answer. Because in that moment, I went, oh, narcissism is well and alive right here. And this was the call for healing. To stop thinking about me in relationship to others and their behaviors. Now, nobody's going around saying usually, what about me? That would be too blatant for the ego. So it couches itself in reaction. Reaction is the ego's domain. As soon as someone says someone just passed or something's going on, there's a reaction. But the reaction is for the me. It isn't to serve, because if it was for service, it would be peaceful, it would be loving, it would be compassion coming forward and the heart opening. But the reaction says, I need protection. Something's going on and I have to protect me. And that is the narcissism. Love has no narcissism. It doesn't exist in love, because love, as well as it can be explained with words, is all-encompassing. It extends itself. It is one with everything. And everything is the friend. Everything is the love that God is. So you don't see anything with, how do I protect the self being in the world? All you do is extend love, because you can't be hurt, because you can't be without, because you are whole and complete in every moment. There is nothing about you that needs protection at all. Now, what the ego would say, well, yeah, what about the body? But you are not the body. You're free. You're still as God created you, as the spirit of love. The body is your apparatus, your vehicle that you can use to extend your love, to display your love, to express your love. But it isn't who you are. It has no thought system of its own. It listens to your commands. And your commands can say, I want to extend love. And I want the heart to burst through the barriers that I've made. I want to extend that love to everyone and be that love with everyone, and no longer have to be the prisoner of reaction of what about me. You can be that small bird, or you can be the strange costume that attacks. It's not who you are. Or you could see it in somebody else, that they are the attacker, and it's not who they are either. And you have the power to transform all of the limitations that have been made within the world into love itself. To keep coming back to, I feel the tenderness of your ever-loving hand within. And I want to share that tenderness with everyone. And no longer believe that you need protection, because you are whole. and you are God's light. You are the child of God. But the child of God has to be recognized in everyone and celebrated. That thank God we're not separate. Thank God there's no competition. Thank God there's nothing to put an expectation on. There's nothing to hold on to that's not the truth of love. Only love is real. And the more that you allow and choose to see that love and to embrace that love within everyone, I'm here to serve. I'm here to love. I'm here to remember. I'm here to bless. Not to prove, not to get, not to protect, not to defend. Only love. And then you are like this. You are the light of God that has come to bless all of humanity. You are the ordinary magnificence of God's creation. Live that ordinary magnificence. Extend that love. Follow God's will. I'm here only to be truly helpful. Only to be truly helpful. And there's not one word in that prayer that says, what about me? I don't have to worry about what to say or what to do because love will direct me. And I will be healed as I let love teach me to heal. Only to be truly helpful as the light of God. With one heart, one life, one love. And place the future into the hands of God. It's not mine to discern how it should be tomorrow, or an hour from now, or a minute from now, but to be open and available to love, as love.